John, you also talked about at a national conference in your keynote speech. You talked a lot about housing affordability as a major issue, and you said National has a 4-point plan.
Yeah.
What's that plan?
Yeah, well, housing affordability is a big deal. I mean, it used to be the Kiwi dream that every New Zealander would be able to buy a house, the quarter-acre Pavlova paradise. And rapidly that dream is diminishing, if you like. So there's a number of things we want to do. First and foremost, actually, is to cut personal taxes and to lower interest rates. And if we do that, you'll have more money both to save for your home and to pay your mortgage, and mortgages will be more affordable. So it doesn't sound sexy, but actually it's a really big part of being able to get your home and stay in it. The second thing is that there's a big issue around land supply. Because the Resource Management Act is very bureaucratic and very cumbersome, what you've got is a situation where not enough land is being released on the market fast enough, and the cost of releasing that land is very expensive because you're going through a long process. So in effect, the price of those sections is rising. Another thing that we're seeing is an awful lot of land banking. So we want to change the rules around that and make it possible to streamline the process of release of land, but it will come with conditions that it can't be land banked. Third thing we're worried about is the Building Act has become extremely bureaucratic. Again, it was a reaction to leaky homes, and we understand exactly what those issues are. But again, they're put in a huge number of layers of bureaucracy. And to put it in perspective, inflation in New Zealand is running at about 4%. It has been for about the last 4 years. A big chunk of inflation at the moment in New Zealand is coming off the back of housing and housing-related increases in costs. And then the last part of it is we'd like to be in a position where anyone living in a state house would be eligible to buy their own home, not a developer, but the person living there. And if they do that, then we're going to go out and replace that house as the state. So it's a win-win. Someone living in a state house could afford to buy it, and we could replace it for a needy person on the waiting list. The government's been saying, well, that's just not possible, people can't afford it. Well, actually, it's not true. There are roughly 66,000 state houses. About 10% of all people in state houses pay market-related rents. So many of them may want to be able to, in fact, afford to buy their home if they want to. And, of course, there are a huge number on the waiting list, around about 10,000, of which 3,500 are critical. So we see it as a practical solution to resolving these problems, and we're very optimistic we can make a difference.
John, a lot of people have said that land supply isn't an important issue. Why do you think it is?
Well, there's no question land supply is a big issue. If you have a look at the price of a section now is greater than the price of what the house in section was not that long ago. And quite honestly, it's a supply and demand issue. Think about New Zealand. It's not a big country in terms of population, 4 million people, yet our land prices are actually, relatively speaking, very expensive. And there's no question that if there was an available supply of land within a reasonable time frame, then the cost of developing and bringing that land on stream would be much lower. And again, it would be much more realistic and affordable for young New Zealanders in particular to buy a home. And I see that home ownership is a really important thing. It's something the National Party was founded on right back in 1936. It's a core part of our principles. We see it as a really important issue that New Zealanders feel they have a stake in society. They can see a future. It's great for the family unit. I think it keeps families together. It gives people a sense of purpose, and it's fantastic for children. It anchors them in one place and means that they tend to stay at the same school for a longer period of time. So we see it as a big part of the Kiwi dream, and it's part of the Kiwi dream we intend to try and deliver on as an incoming national government.